In past videos, we have presented overviews on how BreakingPoint works. Today I want to dig a bit deeper into test components. We will do a quick introduction of each test component module. This lets you get a better understanding of which test component is best suited for your needs. So let's get started. Test components is a segment of BreakingPoint that builds out the traffic scenario. Test component breaks these down into groups to make it easier to create and modify the configuration. First, we will start with Application Simulator, also known as LiveAppsim. This allows you to test your network or device's ability to handle different variations of applications. LiveAppsim makes it easy to build out a quick test to create a realistic scenario. Some configuration options include type of traffic and mixture of ratios through application profiles, while other options include creating thresholds for data rates, concurrent flows, and flows per second. One of the most important configuration options, though, is called Load Profile. Load Profile gives you the ability to create realistic ramp up, steady state, and ramp down. Basically, this is where you're going to modify the rates to allow for bursts and or steady states. Next is LiveAppsim. LiveAppsim creates net flows that were recorded from another key site solution called Traffic Rewind. Traffic Rewind takes net flows from our network packet brokers and converts it into a capture file. It is dynamic and gives you the ability to replay your production traffic. Now, client simulation will look very similar to LiveAppsim. The biggest difference is that client simulation is set up for one-arm test. Basically, this means in LiveAppsim, BreakingPoint is both the client and server, but in ClientSim, we are only the client and will connect up to your external servers or services. With these tests, you're most likely to use a user-defined unique flow to simulate the real application or service. Like LiveAppsim, you have configuration options like load profile, data, and connection thresholds. Session Sender, the next test component, is used primarily to test a device's capabilities to maintain TCP sessions. Session Sender is one of the many ways to create DDoS attacks. It is also used to test and validate vendor white sheets for items like packet size versus rate, throughput, concurrent connections, and connections per second. Like LiveAppsim, you will have configuration options like load profile, data, and connection thresholds. In addition to this, you also have options to easily modify your transport protocol and your payload type. Now we will skip to security. Security is going to give you the ability to test vulnerabilities and to validate what attacks are being blocked. Within here, you will get the ability to change and modify your strike lists. Strike lists are the attacks that you are testing against. You will also get to define how quickly BreakingPoint attacks and if you want to randomize the attacks. One of the unique configuration options is the evasion profiles. Evasion profiles give you the ability to manipulate the attack to bypass security. Some evasion techniques include cache poisoning, changing ports, or modifying of SSL certificates. Now we will talk about the other security component called malware. Malware is fairly straightforward as it seems. It is for malware mitigation validation. The component does have similar configuration options as to security component. These include choosing your strike list, defining the rate of attack, and using evasion techniques. Malware also has the capability of limiting your data rate due to malware's capability of being a volumetric attack. The final traffic scenario component is Recreate. Recreate gives you the ability to replay packet captures. Within Recreate, you get to choose to replay the packet capture in its original unedited format or have the option to modify. The modifications can include replacing IP addresses with test environment IPs, using BPF strings to filter out traffic, and changing source or destination ports. Another unique enhancement is that you can scale your packet capture to increase throughput, connection rates, or concurrent connections. The last component we will talk about is Stack Scrambler. Stack Scrambler is similar to Session Sender in the sense that it tests at layer 4 to validate packet session of the device under test. But the big difference is that Stack Scrambler is meant to send invalid packets through packet modifications. Some of these modifications can include, but not limited to, creating bad Ethernet types, modifying TCP flags, or IP versions. So basically, Stack Scrambler tries to see what type of corrupted or modified packets are accepted by your network or security devices.